Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Friday edition of Locked On Flames. Today, we're doing a little bit of a news and notes with our winners and losers of the week to just wrap up this chaotic, very busy week on a more, laid back, nothing too critical that involves too much critical thinking, get the brain cells rubbing together. But what has been going on in Boston for free agents like David Krejci and Patrice Bergeron, who are supposed to be ready to sign by the opening of free agency. And then, of course, Tyler Seguin and Brady Tkachuk have so much more in common this week than they did before.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning into Locked On Flames. As always, I'm your host, Jess Belmosto. We have a lot to talk about today. 2 very eligible bachelors are off of the market, and 2 key pieces to Boston's last run at it are still up in the air. They remain unsigned. What's the holdup? They made a firing based on the assumption that one of these players was coming back. So we have a lot to kind of uncover and dig to the bottom of this today. But before we do that, let me remind you all that you can subscribe to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts. So we're free on every podcasting platform, including YouTube. And remember, it costs nothing to leave a nice little review and a 5-star rating. It would really help the show out, and it would mean a lot to me. So let's dive into this little backup in Boston. If you've ever been to Boston, I'm sure you know that there is no way you're getting anywhere without a little bit of traffic. So nice little fun play on words there, right? But the Bruins have had quite a chaotic offseason. Jake DeBrusk rescinds his trade request. They fire Bruce Cassidy wrongfully. They extend Don Sweeney. They're waiting for contract negotiations with Costa to see where those go. And of course, is David Krejci returning? Is Patrice Bergeron returning? That's why they fired Bruce Cassidy, allegedly. David Krejci was a UFA this time last year, and he wanted to go play back home in the Czech Republic, which is fine. Obviously, you have young kids. But I guess the rumor has it that he didn't like that Bruce Cassidy never put pasta on his wing. So I get it. I would be a little frustrated with that too. But could you imagine a full season of Taylor Hall, David Pastrnak, and David Krejci? I think that would do disgusting things for the Bruins. I think that would be insane. Last season, David Pastrnak was a 40-goal scorer, even though he returned later in the season because he had, or his season got started later because he was coming back from surgery. But back to the rumor mill, if we will. All signs pointed in a positive direction of David Krejci re-signing in Boston. But there was no real movement. That tweet came out about him being seen in South Carolina, and it's like, no, his family is vacationed there for years. It's nothing new. It doesn't indicate anything, really, in my opinion. But the Bruins brought in Jim Montgomery to coach the team, who David Krejci and Patrice Bergeron are very familiar with, and still nothing. And there was a tweet a little bit before the draft, around the time of the draft, I believe, that said, that the signing for Patrice Bergeron's contract was pretty much signed, and that he had every positive intention of re-signing in Boston. But then at the media availability at the draft, Cam Neely was like, Yeah, we don't know. Things seem to be trending in a positive direction, but we don't know if he's ready to come back because I'm pretty sure he ended his season injured and needed surgery as well. So there's just a lot of question marks surrounding the Bruins. Truly, like the first two lines, because they know that Charlie Coyle is incapable of centering. They traded Eric Holla for a kid out of New Jersey. I don't know who else you're going to call up to center your teams. And they're really relying on Bergie and Krejci to return. And there was a lot of speculation that they would be ready and announced on the 13th, the day of free agency opening up, right? Neither have signed from what we're hearing. And the front office's comments have seemed a little less than encouraging. And I forget who put it out, but someone said, Krejci could even re-sign with a different NHL team if he really wanted to. And that is a lot of not so great movement and anticipation in this storyline that, David Krejci is supposed to come back, Patrice Bergeron is supposed to come back to give this team one final go at it. And, what is the holdup? What's going on? Is it a numbers issue? Is it a player issue of them not wanting to return? Or, what is going on? I guess I would listen to Locked On Bruins for more information because they're going to have the most accurate and up-to-date info. So we're going to keep an eye on that because it would be great to see that core, or what's left of that core, give it one last go. Coming up next, we are going to talk about Tyler Seguin and Brady Tkachuk's busy week. But before we do that, we are going to take a quick break to talk about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easy way to check in on all of your betting needs. Remember to gamble responsibly as well. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for your sports wagering information. Head to BetOnline today to use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of Locked On Flames. I greatly appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter at JustBelmosto. I put up a tweet earlier today asking, who do you want to see for guests this offseason? I've reached out to a few players. I've reached out to some journalists. Who do you want to see? Let me know on Twitter at JustBelmosto. So this summer, I love the summer for, a few different reasons. Everyone gets to go somewhere, the kids are out of school. There's typically like little day trips here and there, vacations, weddings, free agency, and trades. But the most important thing to me is you get to see the players use their social media a little bit more. And that's how we found out that Tyler Seguin and Brady Tkachuk are off the market and engaged. Tyler Seguin and his girlfriend, Katie Kirchhoff, are engaged. They got engaged in the Santorini, and the pictures looked like some sort of Dolce & Gabbana perfume ad. They just absolutely stunning. I'm so happy for the both of them. And it's kind of funny because I believe when they first started dating, Katie accidentally doxed Seguin by posting like pizza boxes, and obviously mistakes happen, but RIP to all the jokes about Tyler Seguin being a player. It's nice to see that he has supposedly matured from what he was when he was in Boston. The photos again of their engagement were just absolutely stunning. You can check them out on her Instagram, and I believe his as well. Just two beautiful people, two absolutely gorgeous model-like people. I cannot wait to see their future. Their wedding is probably going to be so over the top and just gorgeous. I love it. You know, I love engagements. I love things like that. It's so cute. And then Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk signed himself a long-term deal with his girlfriend Emma. They are just the cutest looking couple in the entire world. I absolutely love them. The photo that they posted was just so simple. It was Brady and Emma like hugging, and she had a dozen roses, and she had like a boulder on her hand. Brady used that signing bonus well. I just thought that it was very sweet and beautiful. And the Klingbergs got married. The Yarncroaks got married. It's just such an exciting time. I love the summer for NHL players because I feel like you do get to see them come out of their, hockey only mentality, and you get to see a little bit of their personality through, social media, or they'll do interviews. I know that Blake Coleman has been having the time of his life building his house in Texas, and it just looks absolutely stunning. He has like a wine, I don't know if you'd call it a closet, but like a wine cellar, I guess, in another room in his basement. Absolutely gorgeous. And, players are traveling the world with their children too, which I think is so cool. Absolutely love to see that. I think that's one of the cooler parts of being an NHL player, or really like anyone who makes an exorbitant amount of money, is being able to enrich your children into all these different cultures and experiences. Growing up for me, I went to different baseball parks. That was my summer vacation. But to see the Luciches in like Rome and Germany and like all across Europe, it's so cool to see. And you hope that they never forget these moments, and I'm sure the players realize that it's something that they shouldn't take for granted. And Sean Monahan got married last weekend. Was that last weekend? No, it was like 2 weeks ago now. And it was just, I haven't seen any pictures from the wedding, but just, the pictures that the wives and girlfriends have posted on social media are absolutely adorable. And I love seeing these players, again, just off the ice, well dressed. They look well rested and taken care of. And you get to really just see them and not in like that hockey mode. And it's nice that it's not the press conference, we just got to play better. We got to get pucks in deep, we got to play the full 60. It's them just having fun. And, I look forward to just, I don't know, I think every day is just so fun for them, Obviously they're training and whatnot, but the days when they're on vacation and traveling the globe, they're living their best lives. And truly, what else could you ask for? I think that it's so cool to see players who are traveling back home to, different countries, or who are, just traveling in general. I would love to see like players who've obviously played together for a long time, but like pack up and like do a road trip across the US. I think that would be so fun. Like start in Maine, or like on the opposite coast of where their team is. So I guess if you play in Seattle, you start in Maine and drive all the way across the country and stop at landmarks and all that fun stuff. I think that would be such a fun idea, and obviously you could make content out of it, but I want like organic content, not like, okay, today you're gonna stop at this rest stop that is so iconic for XYZ reason, and you're going to just have fun. No, like I want them to stop at like a gas station at like 2:00 in the morning and the bathroom not be unlocked or something. I don't know. Just give me something fun. I think that would be That'd be a lot of fun, right? But coming up next, we are going to wrap up the show with winners and losers of the week because it is Friday. So, we got to do that. We stick to traditions and routines around here. Thank you so much for tuning into Locked On Flames. As always, I greatly appreciate your support. Make sure that you are subscribed to Locked On Flames wherever you get your podcasts. It is appreciated. You'll never miss an episode. And I'm sure as soon as this goes live, the Flames will have something else for me to record. So, you'll have one after another, right? But this week, my winners and losers are, I feel like they're pretty fair. The losers are the SBs for being just absolutely ridiculous to women's sports and female athletes, to gloss over a lot of the top female athletes, especially WNBA players, and to not even televise some of their categories is just absolute silly to me. And then for them to invite Aaliyah Boston to like a late invite as an afterthought to make up for it, and for her to decline it and kind of just say, this is just another example of inequities between men, pro male athletes and pro female athletes, and it's just not okay. It's not fair. And I completely agree, because it's time that we start showing respect to the best athletes in the world, regardless of their gender, But I think it's time to, for a lot of these teams, not even teams, but organizations, to start respecting, women's sports. And like the LPGA deserves a lot more respect. The WNBA deserves a ton more respect. Women's hockey deserves a lot more respect and notoriety. I'm just really tired of it, and it's time to just give them the respect that they deserve, the same way that you give, you kiss mediocre male athletes' butts. It's time to, show some respect to the women. But my winners of the week are PHF players. They have a new policy where they can disclose their salary. There were a lot of questions about this prior to this season, and especially with the salary cap increase to $750,000. Can they disclose their salary? The short answer before this was yes, they could. They don't have a CBA, so there's no, there's nothing for them to fall back on. But legally, they could absolutely disclose their salary regardless of what the league said. It is legally, yes. But now there's a policy in place that clarifies that. And, it's good to see that, because I think transparency is a lot of people's main concerns when it comes to the PHF. I think a lot of people, how can you put a roster of this many people and not disclose their salaries? And how do you fit under the salary cap? How do you make it work? How do you, things like that? It's just very, it's a little bit more clear, I guess. I have to be careful about what I say, because I do work for the Players Association for the league. But I do think that this is a step in the right direction. This is an awesome movement for the league. And again, transparency is a huge, huge deal. And I just, you love to see it. So thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Flames. I will be back on Monday for some fun. We will be chatting some more about, the latest updates in the Matthew Tkachuk situation. We'll talk more about arbitration, I'm sure. We'll talk more about Andrew Mangiapane, Oliver Shillington. We got this, okay? And I will see you then. Have a great weekend.